For thousands of years, the tales of the Nephilim, the legendary giants, have haunted the minds of humanity. These colossal beings, steeped in myth and mystery, continue to captivate our imaginations. But one question remains. How did the Nephilim survive the Great Flood, an event that, according to the Bible, wiped out nearly all life on Earth? In this video, we're going to delve deep into the hidden truth behind the story of the Nephilim, revealing fresh perspectives and surprising insights along the way. Are you ready to uncover something that's never been revealed before? One of the most intriguing questions surrounding the Nephilim is how they managed to survive the Great Flood. The Bible tells us that the flood was meant to wipe out all life on Earth, sparing only Noah, his family, and the animals they brought with them. Yet the Nephilim, these mysterious beings believed to be the offspring of fallen angels and humans, seem to reappear after the flood. So how could that be? There have been several theories put forward to explain this puzzle. Some suggest that a few Nephilim might have somehow sneaked aboard Noah's Ark, or perhaps clung to the sides of the vessel, managing to survive the deluge. But this theory runs into serious issues when we consider the biblical account. According to the book of Genesis, every living thing outside the ark was destroyed. It seems highly unlikely that any Nephilim could have evaded such total destruction. Another theory proposes that after the flood, a new group of fallen angels once again sinned by interbreeding with humans, creating a new generation of Nephilim. However, this idea also raises questions. The original fallen angels were harshly punished for their transgressions, and it's difficult to imagine that others would dare to follow in their footsteps, knowing the severe consequences. So, where does that leave us? What other explanations could there be for the survival of the Nephilim? This question continues to fascinate scholars and theologians alike as we seek to understand the mysteries that the ancient texts have left us. Perhaps the answer lies in a deeper, more symbolic interpretation of the texts, or maybe there's a yet undiscovered piece of the puzzle that could provide clarity. The survival of the Nephilim remains one of the most compelling mysteries of biblical history, inviting us to explore the rich layers of meaning within these ancient stories. Another theory, which has gained more acceptance, suggests that the Nephilim might have reemerged through the lineage of Ham, one of Noah's 3 sons. Ham had a son named Canaan, who was cursed by Noah, and it is theorized that a recessive genetic trait linked to gigantism could have been passed down through Ham's descendants, especially through Canaan. This could explain the appearance of giants like Goliath in the land of Canaan. When we delve deeper into the lineage of Ham, it becomes clear that while Noah and his family were the only survivors of the flood, the genetic traits from the pre-flood era could have persisted. If a recessive trait such as gigantism existed in Ham's bloodline, it might not have been immediately apparent. However, this trait could resurface when 2 carriers of the gene combined, passing it on to their offspring. This theory presents a fascinating intersection of biblical narrative and genetic possibility. It suggests that the giants mentioned in later biblical texts, particularly those in Canaan, might not be a separate occurrence, but rather a continuation of a genetic legacy that survived the flood. The story of Ham and Canaan reminds us that the effects of our ancestors' actions and traits can echo through generations, manifesting in ways that can be both surprising and mysterious. This perspective not only adds depth to the biblical account, but also invites us to consider the complex ways in which history and genetics can intertwine, influencing the course of human events long after the initial events have passed. To better understand how a recessive genetic trait can persist across generations, let's take a closer look at the concept of genetics. In biology, genes come in 2 forms, dominant and recessive. A dominant gene will express itself immediately when present, while a recessive gene requires 2 copies, one from each parent, to manifest. This means that a genetic trait, such as gigantism, could remain hidden for many generations, unnoticed until the right conditions arise. Imagine that someone in Noah's family carried a recessive gene for gigantism. This gene might not have been apparent in the immediate generation following the flood, but if 2 individuals who both carried this gene were to marry and have children, the chances of that recessive gene being expressed in the next generation would be significantly higher. This could explain why we see the reappearance of giants in the land of Canaan. The idea that a recessive trait like gigantism could quietly pass through generations, only to re-emerge under specific conditions, adds a fascinating layer of complexity to the biblical narrative. It suggests that the giants mentioned in later texts may not be a separate phenomenon, but rather a continuation of a genetic legacy that survived the flood. This theory not only deepens our understanding of the biblical story, but also highlights the intricate ways in which genetics can influence history, carrying forward traits that can unexpectedly resurface in future generations. The mystery of these giants, then, may lie not in supernatural events but in the subtle workings of inheritance, where ancient genes quietly bide their time, waiting for the right moment to reappear. The presence of giants in the land of Canaan is closely tied to the lineage of Canaan, the son of Ham. As the Israelites prepared to enter the Promised Land, God commanded them to destroy the Canaanite nations. This command was partly to prevent the spread of the sinful and immoral practices these people were known for, but another reason might have been to eliminate the lingering influence of the Nephilim's genetic traits. The Canaanites, descendants of Canaan, are described as giants, strong, imposing figures with a fearsome presence. The Bible refers to them as mighty men of great stature, often associating them with other groups that shared similar characteristics. The existence of giants like Goliath and other formidable warriors in this region suggests that the genetic traits from the pre-flood era may have resurfaced in Ham's lineage. This connection between the Canaanites and the giants adds a fascinating dimension to the biblical narrative. It raises the possibility that the giants were not merely a product of new supernatural events, but rather the result of ancient genetic lines that survived the flood. The Canaanites, with their powerful physique and towering height, could have been carrying the remnants of the Nephilim's legacy, passed down through generations. The fearsome reputation of the Canaanite giants made them formidable opponents for the Israelites, who saw them as almost insurmountable foes. Yet the biblical story emphasizes that despite their size and strength, these giants were ultimately defeated, suggesting a divine purpose in their destruction. The story of the Canaanite giants is a reminder of the enduring impact of ancient bloodlines and the ways in which history and genetics can intertwine, leaving a lasting mark on the people and events that followed. Imagine a family living on the outskirts of a powerful kingdom. They've heard tales of giant warriors inhabiting a distant land, beings of immense strength and size, whose presence strikes fear into the hearts of men. Driven by curiosity, they decide to journey to this mysterious place and discover the truth for themselves. As they arrive, they are awestruck by the sight of these towering giants, whose power is evident in every move they make. But instead of the brutal, fearsome creatures they expected, they find something surprising. These giants are not attacking or terrorizing the people. Instead, they are protectors, guarding the villagers from dangers that lurk beyond the borders of their land. This story serves as more than just an example of the possible existence of Nephilim in history. It's a reminder of the complex roles they might have played in society. Far from being merely cursed beings or harbingers of destruction, these giants could have been protectors, fierce warriors who stood against external threats, or even leaders who commanded respect and admiration. Their presence in this tale challenges the simple narrative of good versus evil, suggesting that the legacy of the Nephilim might be more nuanced than we often assume. Just like the giants in the story, who were both feared and revered, the Nephilim might have had a role that extended beyond their origins, a role that perhaps involved not only power and dominance, but also responsibility and guardianship. Through this lens, we can see the Nephilim not just as figures of legend, but as beings whose influence might have shaped the course of history in ways that are still felt today. It's a narrative that invites us to reconsider the stories we've been told and to think about the ways in which the past continues to echo in the present. The story of the Nephilim offers us valuable lessons about legacy and responsibility. Our actions today can ripple through time, affecting generations long after we're gone. This serves as a powerful reminder that we must live with a sense of responsibility, not just for ourselves, but for those who will come after us. The choices we make, the paths we choose, and the values we uphold can shape the future in ways we might not fully comprehend. Another crucial lesson we can draw from the tale of the Nephilim is the danger of arrogance and impatience. Traditionally, the fallen angels defied God's will out of pride and a desire for power. Their arrogance led to their downfall and eventual punishment. This serves as a stark warning for us in our own lives. Arrogance and impatience can easily steer us off course, leading to destructive outcomes. When we ignore the natural order and disregard moral values, we set ourselves on a path that can lead to ruin. In many ways, the story of the Nephilim reflects the timeless truth that with great power comes great responsibility. Whether we possess physical strength, intellectual prowess, or influence over others, how we wield that power defines not just our character, but the legacy we leave behind. The Nephilim's tale is a cautionary one, reminding us that power without humility and action without foresight can have devastating consequences. As we navigate our own lives, we would do well to remember these lessons. They encourage us to be mindful of our impact on the world and to approach our decisions with humility and patience. In doing so, we can avoid the pitfalls that befell the Nephilim and ensure that our legacy is one of positive influence rather than regret. Today's video has given us a deeper understanding of the story of the Nephilim and the Great Flood in the Bible, along with valuable lessons we can apply to our modern lives. I hope you've gained some new and interesting perspectives from this content. If you found the video helpful, please hit the subscribe button and share it so we can continue bringing you more quality and insightful content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.